Okay. Hi, hey, hello. If you're new here, my name is Rain. If you're not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you stopping on by. I'm feeling a teeny bit under the weather at the moment, so we'll see how long this video goes. I've been kind of in a weird spot between projects at the moment, so I'm finishing up my project on OCD, which will, a big chunk of that will be the video right before this one. But I'm also feeling kind of weird doing like Drawtober stuff in September. So my objective is kind of to work out some composition stuff for at least prompt 1, and then maybe just practicing what I want to do for prompt 1, which will be the overgrown cemetery prompt. I do want a character. All of them are going to have a character, and I want them to have a similar kind of feeling. I've already done a huge chunk of prompt 6 because I felt really inspired by that one. So it's kind of more of a sketchbook session. This is probably going to be sketchbook session number 4 today, but I'm doing this as kind of like a Drawtober preparation. I have some thumbnails I've made, and I'm mostly just going to be thinking about these a little bit more critically today, particularly this one. I want it to be my OC Thanatos. Particularly, I don't think he's ever been shown on the channel before. I will pop up the piece I made of him that is inspiring this one, kind of a little bit, in editing and all that. But I'm kind of wanting a kind of relaxed, chilling in the cemetery vibe of my OC Thanatos, who is very much the actual god of death in streetwear, I guess you could argue. We're not going to actually focus on your face. We're just going to make triangles. As like the god of death, well, in deciding I wanted to make him an OC is I really like the idea of gods in modern life, in modernity, particularly the more funky mythological ones. So boink. Sorry, I get kind of distracted making little audio for my ghosts when I'm doodling them. But I kind of just want a very overgrown, desolate, ghost-filled cemetery vibe. Lots of shrubs, maybe. I don't want to take too much from the original where it was, kind of framed with some trees. I want this to be more ground level, which was not the case. And I do want to bring back the bird friend from his shoulder in the original piece. If you can hear that snorting, Great Pyrenees Anya is having a bit of a nightmare, but she's okay. And I want moss, lots of moss. It's not hard to find overgrown cemetery kind of inspiration, but it's definitely hard for me to find like the textures that I want in the moss and stuff. And another thing is that original Thanatos piece was, oh, he's so cute. Oh, he's such a little guy. That original Thanatos piece was done digitally, and I think I want to do Drawtober all traditionally. I know I'm doing prompt 6 traditionally, so I at least want to do this one traditionally. Like, I'm kind of willing to do like half traditional, half digital, but if I'm doing any of them digital, I think I want them to be very specifically the one I'm going to do kind of inspired by Terry's Taxidermy, that song. Then I have a very like complex dining room plan maybe for this one where I might just lose my brain trying to do it traditionally. And then the Moonlit Conservatory one. I think these two would be the ones I want to do digitally if I was, because they're going to be the ones that I have the hardest time with. Mothbitten Library is... But I'm very confident I want to do the ballroom one traditionally, and I don't want to only do one of them traditional and 5 digital. I want it to at least be sort of evenly spaced out. So I have such like a tendency of forgetting that people like get cross tombstones for some reason because, well, I know they do it. Like, the reason I forget is because I'm so bad at, like, sketching them. Like, I'm bad without a ruler at doing, like, symmetrical lines. And so I, like, forget to add them to my sketches. Little ghost friend. I just want lots of cute little ghosts. And this leg, I want going off the frame. I do want it to imply that we're relatively deep in here. Probably put like a tombstone coming off right here. That takes up a, well, if we go, this one's only this big, then a little bit bigger just so this one feels more in the foreground. Despite just its shape. All that jazz. And there's going to be little flowers. This reminds me a bit of, this is such a weird thing to be thinking of. This pen is very clicky and annoying. Let me get the pen associated with my little notebook over here. Get it going. This reminds me very distinctly of this one Halloween kids book I had, where I had to like spot the ghost. It would like tell me how many, it would tell you how many there were, and it'd be like, spot all the ghosts in this area. Yeah, I don't know. It was a little book for kids that I really liked. That's so nostalgic and weird and specific. So yeah, just very casual, very leaned back. Thanatos is a chill dude in my universe. He had kind of, I'm trying to remember what his boots look like. That's good enough. So that's kind of the general vibe, I think. I also have a reference. Because I'm going to be editing this on a different computer than usual, we will see if I can get everything working. And so I'm going to actually sketch my reference pretty solidly. It's very different from this one in terms of like pose and everything. But I do want to play with a composition from a real life photograph just for the sake of seeing what I can implement into this to maybe make it feel more immersive. So that's my part 2 of this. And so our horizon line is maybe right around there is where things start getting cut off. And there is a structure that I really like, and so it is a big part of why I'm thinking about this one. It's like a triangular gazebo. I can't see it super well with the lighting. I'm planning on when it actually comes to, if I utilize it, like putting it onto a device where I can up the brightness a little bit more than my computer. But it's like this little gazebo kind of thing. I think this is all tonally pretty dark with little blurps of light. And then there's some trees in the background, and then some coming over it. Little color code just for the sake of helping me study. Sorry, I realized maybe watching me study a image isn't quite as fun as when I'm coming up with stuff off the cuff, but I am really enchanted by this composition. And it's a man in a trench coat sitting on this tomb, and it's very rare I find like images for a reference that actually has what I want in general, which is the overgrown cemetery feel, and a character, a person, in a style that's similar to what I would put my OCs in. Because a lot of my OCs are kind of dapper people, and so it's kind of hard to find like dapper people in these environments a lot of the time for me. The way I like sketched this out and spaced it, I'm gonna need to bring down the bottom of my frame a bit more, because we have like shrubbery, tree, character overlaps, hands, knees are kind of come forward, legs form a interesting, not quite geometrical shape. You guys get to see how I break down reference images into thumbnails. Congrats. It's not, I'm kidding. I definitely like have like my weirder components to how I like break down images, because it's definitely not based in the kind of formatting that I think it should be. I don't break down shapes quite how I wish I did, like actually like making shapes that I understood. It's always just like, if a hexagon was squished in half, folded on its side, and thrown into a blender, that's what this shape is. And so that doesn't help me in like retrospect. And I think that's a big part of why I struggle so much with, yeah, this needs to go. This is about level with this. Yeah, he's a bit hunched, and I don't know if I can indicate that well. And his hands are here covering, so we're just gonna ignore that. It comes out beyond, disappears behind that. Oh, I bumped you guys. Oops, I'm sorry. I hope that didn't shake you guys too much. I notice a lot of my videos, like, they do have quite a bit of shake when I'm like on the paper, and it's because I use a phone stand that's like hanging you guys over me. So I have to hold my phone. I don't know what would be better to hold my phone than like a phone stand, but it's not very like sturdy. His shoe's actually pretty close to the end of the picture plane, so maybe more here, huh? Yeah. I'm actually not sure which of these compositions I like more in terms of an environment, because I can add the little ghosties everywhere, you know? Like ghosty here, little ghosties on these rocks. Clearly I need to work on the sitting position. Let's try that real quick. Honestly, I think I like this pose more. So I didn't make it look like he's tilted this way. Oops. I'm replacing this bit with this bit, but I'm keeping this more immersive, depthy environment. Oh, I can see the gazebo. It's really, really nice architecture now. Whoa, it looks completely different now that I have it big. I don't know. A lot of the time I'm like, oh, look at it from far away. I'll be able to break down the shapes better. But these shapes apparently have all deceived me. I'm usually able to understand a bit better. So basically, I'm gonna put my gazebo thing here. I'm gonna have the tree here. The cross is gonna go here. Trees. Trees. And then we'll have the frontal tombstone. Man. I never am good at estimating rectangle sizes. Man. Man. Leg. Leg. There's not really anything that like comes in the foreground, so I might add something like maybe even just a few leaves just to feel more in the environment as a viewer than actually like maybe the rock. I think that's a rock. I'm gonna have to like edit the individual bits of the picture in as I break them down to explain what I mean when I say I think that's a rock, because that sounds kind of stupid now that I'm realizing it. So this gazebo, I almost called it a cathedral, is like shoink. Then these have these big bars, and it like comes up, and that like is gone because it disappears. This one you can't even see, and it has like another pillar kind of thing. This is gonna suck to try and actually like get the dimensions down of. I can feel it in my soul as someone who's really bad at perspective that I'm gonna really struggle. And then this is like a step. And then more poles. And trees. And then the like foreground bit that comes over. Foreground bit that exits. Background. Well, it's foreground to that, but like not the actual foreground, like an actual artistic sense. Tree. Tree, we might show that over so tree can go blank. You can like see trees in the very distant background, and like it almost looks like water, but it might just be like how white the sky is. Plant. Pathway, kind of just there. I was not kidding when I said that I am just not good at drawing crosses at all. So that's, we're just gonna pretend that that never happened. That didn't happen. That joints got a little right back there. Such a cute little like fencing. It's like super, the fencing's like super dainty. It's like a little, it's got little bits inside. Shrink. It's very cute fencing. And off the edge of that fence we got another tree with another stupid-doop, boink-a-bonk, and all of the little jing-alongs. I might put like another, maybe another like weird rock like that one right here for like there's consistency for the eye to bounce off of. And then I'll be putting like ghosts throughout. I'll definitely figure out the ghost placement a little bit more when I'm actually in the full-on sketching phase for this on like the finished final piece of paper thing. I'm really out of it today. I have been in meetings all day long and I have really bad brain fog. So I hope that I'm kind of coherent at least a little bit. So these are the thumbnails for prompt 1 and I'm going to go with something a little bit more like this. But I'm going to think about it more hard. Like it's gonna feel more like this spatially, I hope. Maybe I'll fit the full character in, just so that it continues to feel like you're coming into the environment as opposed to like you're already in it, if that makes sense. Like you feel like you're already here with him coming off and you being almost level with this tombstone as opposed to this path, and then you feel like you're really entering the space freshly. So I'm thinking probably more of that effect. And then for the ghostly ballroom one, this is my composition sketch. This video will be coming out before my actual sketching process of the entire thing, just because I'm hoping to either edit all of my sketching processes into one video or to at least save it for Drawtober, the actual month of October, of course, because I like maybe put like 2 prompts per video and only do 3 like actual Drawtober related videos since I only upload weekly. That would be fine. I'm just like, I either want to do my drawings like fully in one video or do loads of sketching in one. So the thumbnails I've excluded from that video already, as far as like the actual thumbnailing process. So this is my prompt. I need to make note of this, otherwise I'll forget. 6. This is my prompt 6 idea. This all sketched out. She's a ghost. I have now some ghosts coming in this way. Well, one of them's a ghost, one's human. And this dapper fella. Not Thanatos, it's actually my OC Vivian, who is my planned one for the Devious Dining. I have kind of this sketch at the moment. However, I recently saw a really pretty Victorian dining room and I am considering trying to go a little bit more elaborate because I am trying to stick in a more Victorian theme for this. This is also my OC Vivian, so this is just his stressful life of just ghosts in the mirror really harassing him. So yeah, I ended up not going. Clearly, I really changed plans from this to this. This one, I really liked it from the beginning, and this was kind of the one I wasn't certain about. So check means it's got its final sketched out phase. And then I wanted to work on Terry's Taxidermy a little bit. I feel like Terry's Taxidermy is a really like weird song, but there's just something about it where it's like, this is like a really good spooky vibes. I like it outside of October, of course. I've been listening to Terry's Taxidermy and a lot of other songs by the artist who writes that, and I'm totally blanking at the moment. I think it's Teddy Hyde. I think his name is Teddy Hyde. And so I have one OC. It's kind of my self-insert OC. Why is this pen causing me so many issues right now? It's my self-insert OC. She wasn't supposed to be my self-insert OC, she just ended up that way. And her backstory has always contained some pretty intense, like, physical violence towards her. So, kind of just going to be showing that for Terry's taxidermy kind of feels. Yeah, I really never intended for her to end up my self-insert OC. It just kind of happened on accident, and I don't know. I need to make a proper one. Maybe I'll make a channel OC one day. Something that feels a little bit more like actually me and not... I always change her horns. I never know how I want them. So we'll just leave it at that. I feel like it's just obvious that I'm a little bit more confident with drawing women. But I'm actually way worse at the proportions of it. Like, I always make this, like, too long. Which I think I've already done. But I think I might put her in a skirt just for convenience sake. The last time I drew her in this kind of state, I drew her in a dress. I haven't, wow. Yeah, this is from December of 2022. So, she didn't have horns back then. Well, she did. I just didn't add them for that because it was actually a school assignment. I was allowed to kind of free range it, so it's a barbed wire-y vibe. I made this OC. I don't know if you could tell. Back when I really didn't like drawing hands. I'm always mutilating her. In her backstory. Oh. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Realizing in retrospect that it just sounds like I'm one of those artists who loves torturing their OCs for fun. I definitely made her backstory this way for the reason of more so I needed to make a way for her to fit into the world that I wanted her to be in. So she's a zombie, and this is kind of the point where she became a zombie. This is the point where she dies and gets resurrected from the grave, kind of. This is, like, really messed anatomy, and this boob needs to be way higher than this boob. But that's okay, because we're gonna tank top her anyway, as per usual. If you've ever wondered, like, of an illustration of Sanny that's, like, finished, because her name is also kind of a work in progress, I just call her Sanny. She's the character who's illustrated in my piece Chronic. This arm is intact when you will pop a hand right around here. Oh, so this prompt, I should have probably prefaced this with the prompt that this is associated with, but I actually have to pull up the prompt list to do that. I'm totally blanking on it. It's something about dolls. It's the dolls in the attic, which is why it has, like, really weird Terry's Taxidermy vibes, which I've said that multiple times and not explained. Terry's Taxidermy is basically where a taxidermist attempts to taxidermy himself. It's kind of unclear if it's to practice taxidermying somebody so that they can live forever, or if it's so he can live forever. It's unclear to me. Not necessarily to everybody. I've never, like, consulted the community or a community on this, but it's always kind of sounded in the part where he discusses bringing a sweet and special doll to life. It's always kind of come across to me as perhaps a loved one has died and now he is seeking to taxidermy and bring life to the dead, and he's experimenting on himself. But I would totally understand if somebody who actually, like, really looked into it and not just gone off of, like, their initial interpretations, like, had a different perspective on that one. But I very much always, like, pictured a room of him attempting to, and in a very Hyde-ish kind of way, selfishly trying to bring back somebody lost and using anybody however to kind of achieve that goal. Hyde was just selfish and an asshole, but kind of the same level of care for others, you know what I mean? So, garters. This character almost always is wearing knee socks. We're gonna just do a tank top for now. She wears a lot of sweaters and tank tops. So this is kind of the feeling I have for prompt 5. So this is prompt 5. And this is going to be my prompt. So maybe I should make her eyes. Her eyes were taken out and replaced in her backstory. I feel really awkward, like actually explaining the backstory of the character. I kind of just use as my self-insert pop here. I'm here now for if I'm ever like explaining something in like a animated form, like, oh yeah, it's this really weird angsty OC of mine, totally, because it's my only female OC. At the time, I've now made that witch OC, but this was the only one I had at the time, so yeah, it's kind of awkward. I just try not to explain it to anybody. It's just like kind of leave it as like, look, okay, I haven't made an actual self-insert, okay? Just leave me alone. I know it's angsty and cringe, but like, I don't really want to put that much effort into like my persona, my existence, and I definitely don't want it to be a self-portrait. That's boring. I want to be fun. So this thing. Why did I have to like draw the line for her tail 50 times? Don't ask. I don't know. Yeah, this is giving the Terry's Taxidermy vibes better. Technically, I got, like, the song hit me as soon as I saw the prompt before actually, like, visualizing anything, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, move on from that kind of visual idea for this piece in particular. I almost want to just, like, pump out the other 3 thumbnails right now, but I don't actually have the reference image on my computer. The Moonlit Conservatory, I've actually been really, like, 50-50 about, because what I really want to do, sorry Crollo, I'm cutting off your legs a little bit, because what I've actually like really wanted to do is make a conservatory lab. Really like big kind of windows, just a whole greenhouse kind of feeling, but it's very clearly like a chemical lab where people like do shady ass experiments, kind of this feeling, right? Kind of just cluttered, chaotic, science experiment kind of labby feelings. I want that, but in a very, pretend I am good at tables for a minute. So yeah, something kind of like that. So what I kind of have been getting a bit of a maybe idea of for this is just kind of more of a looking in kind of feeling. So more of a, this is the top of a huge glass conservatory, and so these like beams are the only thing like really hindering our view, and getting a more like of overhead science lab kind of thing, and having like everything be, but just kind of having it be this like, can kind of just see things from the top. My weird way of indicating 3-dimensional circles from a top view is just, there's a spiral, see, and this is what you're looking at. It's such a really weird effect. And then like having a little character in here, nice and small. So this looks all super spacious. That's a thought that I've been playing with. I'm not super in love with it. Devious Dining, the picture I have, is on my phone, which is why I struggle to do thumbnailing and the actual sketching process on camera, because I like to have it on my phone, like in my sketchbook or right on my page, but it's a very big one, so the table's like actually like kind of tiny in frame compared to like all of these big curtains that are coming in and all of these like candelabras. If that's not what I meant, I'll correct myself, but I think that's what I meant. Like big plates of food, these chairs are even huge, like huge window, that's like not going into the depth of space, huge windows with big curtains and like plants. So I might do something a little bit more dynamic like this, where my OC can be here, as opposed to in the actual sketch I have for my initial thoughts, which is kind of a more drinking wine, kind of you can't escape, you're obligated to stay here. It feels a bit more like fresh blood from Dracula, right? This would be a glass of something sussy. Maybe not blood, maybe blood. We don't know. I don't know, you don't know. So, who knows? That kind of thing. And then I'm also kind of torn. Vivian is my OC that has had kind of traumatic instances that has led to him being a bit more on the mad scientist spectrum. He is immortal, so he makes sense for the scientist lab. However, Sanny's also a scientist. Clearly I have a thing for scientists and being my characters and stuff like that, so clearly. I could put her there too and then have her be in there for those two prompts. So that would be 2 for Viv, 2 for Sanny, and then I could put Thanatos in a library. It doesn't totally fit him, but it could be a library filled with ghosts. Maybe Moth Ghost! Oh, like imagine the little Moth Ghost. Wait, that'd be so cute. Little Moth Ghost? I'm kind of sold on that. I think I sold myself on Little Moth Ghost in the library. So maybe I'll just have 2 for each of those OCs. I think that sounds pretty good. I don't know how like satisfying this video was for like those who like maybe wanted something a touch more finished, but this is kind of where I'm at with these. And this is 43 minutes. Not the most exciting and fun of pieces in terms of like empathizing and being like excited for the character that's in it. However, it really fits the theme for me and my OCs and everything I'm like trying to have fun with. So there's that. I hope you like my like 3rd week probably of September. 3rd week isn't, I don't even know what week it is. It's like maybe the 2nd week, maybe the 3rd week right now. I don't have a calendar in front of me. I hope you like my 3rd week of September thumbnails for Drawtober, and I hope you stick around if you're interested in seeing the actual finished pieces I make for Drawtober. Be sure to subscribe, and if you like these, like the video, and if you don't like them, dislike the video. And if you have any comments, you have any thoughts, ways to make these more engaging, ideas for the other prompts, like I'd be super interested in hearing them. I really like engaging with you guys in the comments, so there's that. If there's anything else you'd like to see during October for the spooky season, let me know. But other than that, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever floats your boat. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are. And I guess that's it. So, bye!